Paul, welcome. You've moved from a team top of the Bundesliga to one second from bottom in the Premier League. I guess the question is why?
Well, I had an experience last season at Derby. It was my first role as a head coach. It lasted for 8 months, premature, the ending, but it was actually a role that I thoroughly enjoyed. And once I'd done it, I was very clear that that's the role that I wanted to continue in. But had to be for a good job. The kind of offers that were put in front of me at that time were not as interesting as the potential to go and work for Bayern Munich with Carlo again. So I took that opportunity, had a wonderful 6 months in Munich. A very difficult place to leave, not only because of the position in the team, but the kind of club that is. You know, one of the best in the world, fantastic players, also a great city. And I have to say thank you very much to Bayern for, first of all, the opportunity, but secondly also for the chance to fulfil an ambition again to be a head coach. And my big thanks go to Carlo Ancelotti, someone I assisted for close to 7 years at 4 different clubs. Learned a lot from him and are very good friends with him. Also Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, the CEO of Bayern, who again gave me the opportunity to go there, but also the chance to come here and be a Premier League coach at Swansea.
What do you need to do to keep Swansea in the Premier League?
Well, you've got to get results, and I'm been very lucky over the last years to work at some wonderful clubs and win a lot of games and be involved in competing for titles at domestic and European level. So I'm a competitor and I love to win. So the first thing is to try and get some positive performances and results as a result of that, good results.
In terms of coaching setup, can you just clarify the position with Alan Curtis? Will you be involved with the first team coaching?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you've been introduced to my 2 assistants that have come with me. Carl Hallaby, who I worked with at Fulham and Chelsea, and also at Derby as well. He's most recently been at Tottenham. And Nigel Gibbs, who I haven't worked with before, but has fantastic experience both as a player, 20 years at Watford, and then experience as an assistant at Reading, at Watford, at Leeds, and also most recently working at Tottenham. So I have 2 very capable, skilled people coming in to help me. Alan, I know has been here for many, many, many years, a legend as a player, backroom staff, first team coach, caretaker manager. And the situation with Alan is that we want him to stay at the club. And discussions I've had with the chairman, Hugh Jenkins, today is, as far as he's concerned, and I'm the same as this, that Alan has a job here for as long as he wants, life if necessary. I know he's absolutely respected by the players, the people at the club, most importantly the fans as well. But that's down to him to discuss with the chairman now, and he's going to do that tomorrow. But he will be stepping aside from first team coaching duties on the field. I hope to be able to, I hope he stays in another role. That role is to be discussed. I don't know what that is going to be at the moment. And, in the short time that I've met Alan, and credit goes to him for the result the other night at Crystal Palace. He selected the team, he did the tactics along with Paul Williams, and I was just there to help in any way I could. So he was responsible for that result. And, I'm sure what I know already of Alan and what I've been told about Alan is that I'm sure I can lean on him if I need to.
Is there a danger, do you think, that taking him away from the first team setup might anger the fans?
I'm sure that there's going to be some fans that will be disappointed that he won't be, close to the first team, but he's hopefully going to still be at the club. My view is, as the coach, those decisions happen all the time when coaches and managers come into a club and they bring other coaches. I haven't confirmed exactly what the rest of the backroom staff will be like. The last couple of days has been, intelligence gathering. That first and foremost about the players. Then about the backroom staff. So there is a potential for some things I can still do, both on the playing staff and backroom staff.
And finally from me, have you thought yet about potential transfer targets? How many players you might look to sign, and have you been promised that there's money available?
Yeah, the owners, Steve, Jason, along with Hugh as well, we've had lots of discussions already about how we can improve the team during this window. Needs to be done quickly, and like I just said, I'm gathering information at the moment. That started against Crystal Palace the other night. I've had 2 training sessions with the players, and I think it's only fair that the players that are currently on the playing staff get that opportunity to show me what they can offer. But absolutely, I've been given assurances from the club that they want to help in the transfer window, and I want to make sure that we're getting better people in than we already have. And first of all, I have to assess what we currently have.
Paul, have you spoken to Alan Curtis yourself?
Not since after the game at Crystal Palace.
He's left, giving in the news to Hugh Jenkins, is that correct? Or?
Yeah, Hugh's spoken with Alan, yes.
Do you feel that you've obviously read what's happened, or read on social media the reaction to what has happened to Alan Curtis? Do you feel that that's almost shot you in the foot and the club in the foot after the really positive result at Palace?
I mean, I haven't read what's been said on social media. I've spoken to Jonathan, and I can understand. I'm not sure if the fans are aware that Alan is still at the club, and we want Alan to remain at the club, and whether there's people that think he's actually left or has been forced to leave, and that's certainly not the case. We want Alan to remain at the club.
You said you haven't sorted out entirely your coaching staff. Does Paul Williams stay, or is he going?
Paul's in a similar situation to Alan.
A position at the club or leaving?
Yeah, Hugh's going to be in discussions with Paul about possible other position here, if he wants that.
With all the tasks you've had, how big is this one compared to others? How difficult will it be to keep Swansea City in the Premier League?
It's a big task. It was a big task being, it's different to be, absolutely different to be a head coach to an assistant. But it's a big task to work at Real Madrid. It's a big task to work at Chelsea. This is a bigger task for me personally, because ultimately I take a lot of the responsibility for what's going to happen on the football field here. Selection of the players, influence on recruitment, the way I coach the team, the way I set them up tactically, my influence at half-time, etc., etc. I shoulder a lot of the responsibility, but I'm absolutely up for the challenge. I said to the players, I'm with you on this. I'm excited by the challenge. I could have stayed at Bayern and had a great chance to win the league there and advance into the further stages of the Champions League, and it would have been great. But I've done that the last 6-7 years now, and I want another challenge, and this is going to be really exciting. I can feel it already. I feel good about it.
How heartened were you by that performance at Crystal Palace, and particularly the fact that in past games, as you will know, once they've conceded a goal, they collapse, but actually they hit back?
And one of the things that in the brief discussion I had with the players before the game was that I wasn't going to have a technical and tactical input in this game, but what I did want to see is character, and that players that were going to show me that they're up for this battle and up for this challenge. And I saw it. I saw it in their confidence in the first half, the way that they played and took the game to Crystal Palace, and had the best 3 chances. Maybe a mistake on a long ball gave Palace 1 chance, so we were certainly on top. We were under the cosh a little bit more in the second half, but having Crystal Palace equalise 83, 84 minutes, again the team showed character to come back. And I said to them, winning, losing, drawing, that's just one moment in the game. It's not the result. So you've got to keep going, and they did. And that was really pleasing. Atmosphere in the dressing room after was fantastic. I think a lot of relief, big smiles on faces, and Now that's what we've got to do. We've got to focus on working on the training ground to improve performances, particularly on the defensive side. We know that this team can play good football, so we'll be looking to build on that. But it's going to help if we reduce the amount of goals that have been conceded, and we'll have a chance to win some games.
When it comes to buying in the January window, do you have a list of players you want that you have in mind, or will you inherit a list? And will the so-called Moneyball expert Dan Altman have a role in that?
The situation with the recruitment of players is that before I came, there were discussions and targets. Those targets have been are known to me now. I bring with me some of my own ideas and thoughts, both on where I think we need to strengthen, and some ideas on potential players that I've seen and like. So that's the first thing. On to your second question about, it was more about, I suppose, about statistical analysis. I'm a believer in that statistical analysis should be part of the jigsaw puzzle, which goes together to not only potentially help to recruit players, but also to assess your own team. I have experience of this. I've travelled in the States and visited a number of different sports teams and that use data. Yeah, of course, it's different sports: American football, basketball, Major League Baseball, where there's a lot of reliance on that kind of data. My belief is that it should be used as part of the due diligence process in deciding who should come to the club, but it is part of it. It's part of it, because you can't take away the expertise of scouting and coaches watching players and telephone calls to people that have worked with these players before to get information about character and how they manage their life and their professionalism. But we will certainly be using data as part of the whole picture.
And is Altman specifically involved in that?
Yes, I mean, he's someone that's been hired by Steve and Jason. I haven't met him yet. He's sent me through some information. He's very intelligent man. Harvard graduate, the kind of person that you want doing that kind of work, an absolute expert in that field.
And last couple from me. Do you think Swansea City will stay up, and what will you need from Swansea?
Well, I mean, you can go back through all the past figures of what it takes and who's done it in the past. My brother actually played on the West Brom team. That Mission Impossible and all those things. It was exciting. I was close to it, so I know it can be done. But I think that target it's so far away. Right? The concentration, from my point of view and my staff, is about details, much smaller things, getting the team organised in a good defensive shape, people understanding their roles and their responsibilities. And my belief is that if you get that right, you get the preparation right, and then you're able to go on the field and execute it, you have a better chance of the results coming. If you focus on that, and I know a lot of talk will be about that can they survive? Yeah, they can, or they've got no chance. And we're really focusing on the details of playing football and putting in performances over a 90-minute period.
And in all that, in sort of assessing what you have, how important will it be for players who play at Hull on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, it is important because I have a very short amount of time to assess what we currently have, and then to be able to say to the club what my views are on what we should do about potential players coming into the club. So it is a very important period. I'm working a lot at the moment to make sure I gather that information to the best of my ability to be able to make as good a decision as I can.
Paul, hi, Francis Donovan from Premier League.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I'd be interested to find out what your thoughts are in terms of, there's a lot has been made in recent weeks about the lack of confidence amongst the players, something that the fans have been very much concerned about. But essentially you've got to look now about, as you say, a very short period of time to assess your players and decide what you need in the January transfer window. There's a bit of a dichotomy there, isn't there, in terms of how you get confidence back into these players who still have got to perform for you while the window's open, but also get the players that perhaps you think you need to survive. How do you marry up those two?
Yeah, it's a fine line between it, you know. I think, in this short period, I have to give the players that I've got as much chance to get in front of me, and it's not only in the games, but I'm looking at them in training very closely. We're videoing everything. We're reviewing it again. They are under the microscope, absolutely. But also trying to get a lot of information into them, so we can help the team quickly. Good example was the other night, Alan and Paul's influence on getting a result. It's a really important 3 points. A little bit different this weekend. We're going into the FA Cup. I'm going to make some changes, but I don't want to make massive changes, because we also want to try and create some continuity and get some cohesiveness in the team. So I am between those two things, thinking about how to give the players confidence and give them an opportunity, but at the same time difficult decisions have to be made for the best of the club and for the best of the team.
What ultimately has to take precedence on that, I guess, it's best of the team, is it?
Yeah, absolutely, always.
Your predecessor, Bob Bradley, was fairly damning recently in an interview that he did, saying that there are no fighters, no winners amongst these players. Obviously, you've had a very short period of time to be amongst them. Do you have any sympathy with that comment?
No, not really. I can only judge what I've seen so far, and that was the 90-minute performance at Crystal Palace, and I saw lots of character, lots of fighters, and I saw quality as well, and that's very pleasing.
For them, obviously, it's their third manager in the space of half a season, which I suppose for some players, well, it can be a galvanising influence, it can be a bit unsettling as well. Do you think the fact that there have been two managers before you has made your job even harder? It's not just about survival, but it's about bringing some degree of sort of serenity to these players as well.
Yeah, maybe. It's they've been through a lot of change, different managers, different training methods, different playing styles. Hopefully we can give them a bit of continuity now, and I think the players want it as well. They want clear guidance, they want clear instruction, they want to understand absolutely what they do on the field, and I think there's nothing worse for a player than he goes on the field and doesn't know what he has to do exactly, and they'll have that with me. They'll know exactly what they need to do when they go on the field.
Again, sorry to be quoting your predecessor, but he also said that there is an essential problem here between sort of fans and the club, and it sometimes is a club that's been at war with itself. Does that bother you at all? Do you feel you've got to come in with a certain degree of sort of diplomatic impetus, or are you just going to ignore all that?
No, I mean, in my communication with Steve Kaplan, Jason Levine, Hugh Jenkins, they want the absolute best for this club. No question about it. They're passionate about the football team. They want to improve it. They want to be competing at this level, and that's the only thing I can say. And they've been very supportive. I'm obviously very grateful to them that they've given me the opportunity, and I've said to them I'll be giving my 100% best to work with them, because I can't do it on my own. I need their help. I need my staff's help. I need the players to do our very best to make this team successful.
Just one question for me about Alan Curtis. Obviously, everybody understands the practicalities of football, and things do change and everything, but he does have a very special status here, and the players, to a man, are incredibly fond of him. They have a huge amount of respect for him. Will he play no part with them at all in terms of a relationship in his new role? I mean, do you envisage that that influence can still be brought to bear?
No, of course, and what we're saying is Alan's not going to be on the training field coaching the players, and he won't be on the bench at games, but we hope to see him around and to have that communication with the players. We respect him, the club respect him for what he's done over all these years here. So from my point of view, though, I really do hope that he finds a role that he's happy with, working with Hugh Jenkins at Swansea City.
Final one from me. Obviously, you've spent a fair amount of time with Mr. Ancelotti, who's got a great reputation. Did he give you any tips as you were leaving behind as to what you needed to do with Swansea?
He just said, you have to absolutely focus on your work. When you become the head coach, and I have some experience of this, there can be a lot of noise around the team that comes from all different places. The important thing that you do is to be able to focus on what you need to do and the influence that you can have in a positive way on the football team. So, but over the years, I've learned a lot. I learned a lot from him. So I know I've already used it in my last club at Derby. So I'll be absolutely using it again now.
He was good at keeping up as he is.
Yeah, I'm better. I have a better left foot than he does, but overall he was a fantastic player.
Yeah, absolutely. Very best of luck to you all.
Thank you.
Anything else from broadcast, please? No. Okay, thanks very much.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
Do pictures.